A very good evening to you and welcome. It's Tuesday, 13th May 2025. Mental health is real. Seek help. End the stigma. On the news this evening, Governor Fubara's advice to supporters sparks more reactions. House of Representatives stakeholders appeal for safe release of passengers abducted by pirates in Rivers State. Court sets date for judgment on Senators Natasha Akpabio case. On the foreign scene, U.S., Saudi Arabia signed billion-dollar defense agreement. I am Constance Irele Mega. Dr. Kennedy Allen Nwokama has joined those defending the suspended Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara after he advised his supporters to seek his consent before making any comment on the political crisis. While speaking with our correspondent on this, Allen Nwokama said the governor's comment was aimed at curtailing those he described as crisis merchants.
In recent times, there are a lot of crisis mongers, persons who benefit from a crisis situation, who want the crisis to prolong perpetually, who would not want us to have peace in the state. I think I like the speech the governor made. He has now drawn the line. So the governor did the right thing by also putting a check. That speech will put a check. Some persons who are referred to as crisis merchants, people who benefit from the prolongation of the crisis that is besetting the state.
But the spokesperson for the PDP presidential campaign in the 2023 general election, Dr. Lolo Nwibubasa, acknowledged that the governor has a right to express his views, but stressed that the people who entrusted him with power also have a right to speak, especially at a time when the office he occupies is under pressure.
While I agree that the governor has right to the way he will want to attend to the crisis that has engulfed the state, but I want to state very clearly that the office of the governor belongs to the people of Rivers State. Siminalayi Fubara is holding that position in trust for Rivers people, and so it will be very difficult for the governor to control the way Rivers people will react and respond to a seat that they donated to him. Every power that is with elected officials are powers that are donated. And so the donor has the right to respond and react when they feel.
Nwibubasa said the governor's personal feelings about remaining in office are secondary, as he is under obligation to continue performing his duties until the people decide otherwise.
So it is nothing personal about Governor Siminalayi Fubara as at this time. Whether his spirit has left the government house, it is not the business of Rivers people who donated that office to him for 4 years. And so he is under compulsion to continue to sit as the governor of Rivers State until the people say otherwise in voting in another election. So it is not about how he feels. It's about the burden of responsibility that he carries. Rivers people and the support they have given the governor was not personal to him.
Now, on the crisis rocking the PDP, Nwibubasa advised Nigerians not to rely on the PDP to rescue the country in the next general election.
If equity, fairness, justice and truth is not the basis for any reconciliation, then that reconciliation can never be sustainable. Our party is not going the direction that it should be, but beyond the PDP is the question of the Nigerian people. PDP as it stands, that even with the reconciliation, and PDP may find it very difficult to rescue herself. So are we now talking about a country to depend on a party that is finding it difficult to rescue herself? And that's the reason we are clamoring for a strong coalition of Nigerian people.
However, a former commissioner for information in Rivers State, Mr. Ogbonna Nwoke, believes that the PDP will soon bounce back and take its place as the main opposition party.
As a PDP person, I am convinced that perhaps the PDP is willing now to sit down as a family to discuss issues that pertain to the family. Looking at what happened on Sunday, the fact that even unlikely bedfellows attended the meeting and there was a decision means that the PDP is willing to get together and to prove that point that they have always proved in the past, that they're a great party that can get together, a party that can shape the dynamics of not just of our politics but of our nation. I think we should salute the PDP's effort to get together.
Well, Nwuke also hailed the party leadership for coming together to discuss their problems under one roof.
A meeting yesterday night in Abuja, and the fact that they are swearing in or inaugurating the trustees is a strong indication that perhaps all of the obstacles that have put the PDP asunder have been removed. And I think that everyone rational in this country who wishes the existence of a multi-party state will be happy that the PDP at last has gotten to a point where all of those who were opponents on both sides are sat together and took a decision.
In other news, a stakeholder in Bonny Kingdom, Mr. Boma Waribo, has joined the call for the immediate and unconditional release of the 13 passengers abducted along the Isaka River last week. Speaking with our correspondent, Waribo described the incident as one too many, expressing concern that most of the victims are students, where he urged security agencies to intensify efforts to secure their release without delay, and also questioned why kidnappers continue on the waterways despite the donation of gunboats to the police by Governor Siminala Ifubara and the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun.
I want to call on the relevant security agencies, Nigerian Navy, the Marine Police, and the Army to collaborate towards fostering the quick release of these kidnapped victims. I must say that this is one too many. I really can't tell if those gunboats are effective. I don't know why this is continuing. Having the problem persisting after solution is provided is worrisome. So we in Bonny, we are worried. We can no longer travel with peace.
Also speaking, the chairman of the Maritime Workers Union in Rivers State, Mr. Israel Waribo Pepo, expressed hope that the visit of their national president to Rivers State's sole administrator will lead to renewed efforts to tackle the growing security challenges on the waterways.
President General of the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, Comrade Francis Bono, visited Rivers State on Friday, just last Friday, to discuss the issue of the insecurity on our waterways. And I can tell you that the sole administrator received him very well, and they discussed extensively on how to safeguard the waterway in terms of logistics for the Marine Police. To me, the meeting was fruitful, and we hope that maybe any moment from now it will start yielding results.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives is demanding the unconditional release of all those abducted by the sea pirates on their way to Bonny Kingdom in Rivers State. The House passed the resolution after a motion of urgent public importance sponsored by Rivers lawmaker Mr. Cyril Hart. Well, Hart said the repeated incidents also undermine public confidence in the country's security architecture. As you may know, the victims were abducted last Tuesday while traveling from Port Harcourt to Colton Channel and Billy. The pirates also hijacked 2 passenger boats and made away with goods during the attack. Moving on, the youth president of Nkpolu Rumigbo, Mr. Chamberlain Owanda, has renewed calls for the construction of a wider drainage system in the area. Well, this is because of recurring flash floods in the area on rainy days. In an interview with our correspondent, Owanda said an underground drainage should be built on the Nkpolu Rumigbo section of the East-West Road and linked through normal drainages, which will empty at the Ntawaba Canal.
The flood has a channel that will pass to the Bori Camp, FGC. There is a canal there. A suitable drainage system can be connected to that canal that will lead to Rumola. In this Rumigbo entirely, the issue of flood is really alarming. Most of the flood is not water coming from Bolu, because the rain will come from Rumawolo down to Mbolu. From there, it does not have anywhere it will go. Then if it settles there, like 2, 3, 4 hours, you will not see the water. Meaning that there is a place where it passes, but there is no good drainage to channel it. So if the government come in, they can be able to trace and give it a good drainage system.
Well, earlier, the secretary of Obiwali unit of NURTW, Mr. Samuel Ibekwe, told our correspondents that commercial drivers plying between Nkpolu Junction and Rumigbo Junction halt operations during rainfall due to flash floods in the area. He said the situation hinders the movement of school children and other residents.
The place is very bad. The pothole, they're very deep. Normally, this our road. Once you drop a little bit, you can't even know where you can put your tire. We don't drive the road 6, 7, 8 until 9 o'clock where the water don't go down. Nobody pass there. Even students, they stand on the road. Their parents even they say, what's happened? Some of them they even back their children. They trek, they go school because no motor. All our drivers they don't stop the road. Nobody won't carry their motor swim water because motor is not for swimming.
In another development, some motorists operating at the Choba axis of the East-West Road are calling on the government to urgently address the flood situation at the junction. They told our correspondents that the drainage in front of a popular restaurant at Choba Junction is overflowing due to a possible blockage. They say the odor from the stagnant water is unbearable.
This Choba Junction, government don't fix them before. Now, due to the fast food, they use the gutter, do their own soccer way. So every time when the team full, the team always come out main road, spoiling the road. You watch it there now, you will see some block where they there now we fix them so that our motor will not spoil. Government can help us to clear the gutter so that the water will not cycle in the main road.
The road is very bad. Choba Junction, the road needs to be fixed.
What did they cause this problem here? They channel their water, put there, and each time they clean that place, water no go there. There go they dry. But once the thing full, water will start to cycle here. Rain fall, rain no fall. The drainage don't block. That is why no they flow. And they need to flush the drainage now, so the water will they pass.
The restaurants waiting for Choba Junction. Now their soccer way, the shit and the urine we don't form, we don't already ferment. With the chop road.
We're going to commercial break now, but still to come, court fixes date for judgment on Senators Natasha Akpabio case. Stay tuned. Staying with us, and now to the rest of the news. 4 suspects accused of the attempted murder of the leader of the conscience of Ogoni people, Gani Toba, were today arraigned before a state high court in Port Harcourt on 7 counts, including conspiracy, attempted murder, cultism, illegal possession of firearms. Their arraignment followed information filed by the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, indicating that the suspects have a case to answer. In the charges read in court, the suspects, Savior Robert, popularly known as Timberland, Leso Bugisere, Leka Dele Manapo, and Dele Akpobari, popularly known as Bob Satan, along with others now at large, were alleged to have on 12th March 2023 ambushed Gani Toba and shot at him sporadically while he was returning from Zakbo community in Kana local government area to Port Harcourt. Correspondent Emeka Otuka reports that the 4 suspects pleaded not guilty to the charges. Thereafter, their lawyers filed for bail, while the presiding judge, Justice Augusta Chukwu, after listening to the legal representatives, adjourned the matter to 24th of May for hearing on the bail application. Elsewhere, Justice Binta Nyako of the Federal High Court in Abuja has set 27th of June to give a final judgment in the case filed by suspended Kogi Central Senator Natasha Akpoti Iduagan. Now, the suit came up for hearing of all pending motions, including those relating to alleged contempt of court and the substantive suit. Well, objections, and if they succeed, the matter stops there. If not, she will proceed. The House of Representatives has rejected a constitutional amendment bill seeking to rotate the office of the President and Vice President among the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. In his remarks during plenary today, Deputy Minority Leader Aliyu Madaki said the problem the bill intends to solve has been addressed by the Federal Character Commission, warning that the issue of rotation should not be included in the Constitution but allowed to remain the way it is. Madaki said the existing political parties already have mechanisms to ensure fair representation in the sharing of offices at every given electoral period. Chairman of the Rivers State Civil Society Organizations, RIFSCO, NFR George Will, has urged the State Sole Administrator, retired Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas, and local government administrators to harmonize taxes across the state. Speaking to newsmen, George Will said multiple and uncoordinated tax demands have negatively affected low-income business owners. He said several tax agents impose inconsistent and exorbitant levies, creating confusion and hardship for small businesses.
Concerning the exorbitant levies and taxes, charging workshop owners taxes ranging from 20,000 naira for sanitation, 2,000 naira for business place, another 25,000 naira for fire service. Just one small shop that barely sells 5,000 naira a day. I will be calling on the relevant authorities to harmonize their taxes so that they don't destroy the low-income class category. Businesses are already struggling. They don't even know who to rely on. Today, persons from the Tinubu Postal Administration is coming. Another day is people from the HLG. There's a lot of inconsistency and confusion already amongst our traders.
Away from that, an educationist, Associate Professor Ben Yewusira, is asking the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, to thoroughly review the issues raised by candidates in the just concluded UTME to prevent a repeat in the future. Nyawusira, a lecturer in the Department of Educational Foundations at the University of Port Harcourt, told correspondent Emeka Otuka that despite the challenges, the computer-based test format remains the most effective method for conducting examinations, especially in curbing malpractice.
If there were clear hitches and encumbrances, in the process of the examination, that could impact on the performance of the students. Don't forget that as a CBT exam, there's a possibility of technical hitches. If indeed that happens, you don't need to blame the students. JAMB should take responsibility and make amends. Computer-based tests have come to stay. We cannot say let us go back doing exams manually. All that JAMB should do is to improve the process so that there won't be these rampant cases of hitches and inhibitions, on the part of those who are conducting the exam.
Well, this morning, a group of angry Nigerian parents protested outside the JAMB headquarters in Ikoyi, Lagos, over their children's unusual low scores. And as you may know, over 8,000 candidates had planned to sue JAMB over technical glitches and incomplete questions in the 2025 UTME. And JAMB later ordered a comprehensive review of the exams, pledging to implement appropriate remedial measures promptly if it is determined that there were glitches.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
On the international scene, U.S. President Donald Trump says his country's bond with Saudi Arabia is more powerful than ever. President Trump said this after signing a $142 billion defense agreement with the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. He described the Crown Prince as an incredible man. Where Trump is on the first leg of a major diplomatic 4-day tour to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and UAE. And earlier, Trump was joined by Elon Musk and other business leaders at a lavish lunch in Riyadh. Well, that's the news this evening, but before we go, let's take a look at the highlights. On the news, you heard that Governor Siminalayi Fubara's advice to supporters have continued to spark more reactions. Now, the House of Representatives and some stakeholders have appealed for the safe release of passengers abducted by pirates in Rivers State. And the Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed 27th June for the final judgment on the matter involving Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and the Senate President Godswill Akpabio. On the foreign scene, the US and Saudi Arabia have signed a multi-billion-dollar defense agreement. The news was edited by Onyeka Chinwosu. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I am Constance Irele Mega. Thank you so much for listening.